at noon. First, the highlights. Legacy government generates 333 billion naira in tax revenue in first quarter of 2025. Federal government pledges to deliver Akure-Kere Road by December. And foreign in United States, China agreed to slash tariffs for 90 days. And in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles to tackle Senegal in under 20 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match. And now the details. I am Mike James. The legacy government has generated 333 billion naira in tax revenue in the first quarter of 2025 with the aim of providing more funding for the Themes Plus developmental agenda of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration. Commissioner for Finance Abayomi Oluyomi stated this at the ongoing ministerial press briefing at Alausa Ikeja to mark the second year of the second term of Governor Sanwo-Olu's administration in office. While reeling out the ministry's achievement in the last 1 year, the commissioner noted that the state government launched the Lagos Revenue Portal to streamline, digitize and unify revenue processes across ministries, departments and agencies in the state. Oluyomi explained that in the second quarter of 2025, the state government will commence the publication of revenue defaulters in the national dailies with plans to launch revenue courts with the aim to prosecute defaulters.
Lagos, I must say, is not only Nigeria's economic and financial hub, but also Africa's largest subnational economy. The state is particularly sensitive to national and global fluctuations. To combat this, the Lagos Ministry of Finance has responded with deliberate and strategic policy initiatives. These efforts have not only buffered the state finances from shocks, but have also positioned Lagos State as a leader in subnational financial management.
According to him, the state government generated 1.3 trillion naira internal generated revenue in 2024, collected over 14 billion naira in land use charge, with over 800,000 properties now on the state's database via aggressive enumeration campaigns. Oluyomi said in the year under review, Lagos maintained a debt service to revenue ratio of 19.2% within 30% fiscal responsibility threshold, and commenced the issuance of a 14.815 billion naira green bond while receiving certification from the Climate Bond Initiative, the first by a Nigerian subnational. The commissioner also hinted at the conversion of idle assets in Lagos State to liquidity for funding infrastructure development through scrutinization. The Legacy government has participated in the commencement of the external court sessions of the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice at the Osborne Foreshore High Court, Ikoyi, Lagos. While delivering his address at the ceremony, Legacy Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu commended the court's initiative and efforts to decentralize the administration of justice and make legal proceedings more accessible and transparent to the ordinary citizen. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Pedro, emphasized that the adjudication of cases and administration of justice are the pillars of a stable and progressive society. Echoing the words of Justice Ricardo Gonsalves, he noted that these external sessions are not merely procedural, but are also educational, enlightening, and essential for empowering the public with the knowledge of their legal rights. The governor described the external court sessions as a milestone and a vital move towards ensuring that every West African citizen is informed about their right to a fair hearing and access to justice, as well as how to effectively engage with the judicial system. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has elected a consultant psychiatrist at the University of Jos Teaching Hospital, Chris Piwuna, as its next president. Piwuna, who is also the Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Jos, takes over from Victor Shodeke, a professor of soil science from the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, Abia State. The decision was taken at the 23rd National Delegates Congress of the Union, which took place in Benin on Sunday. The election was contested between Peuna and Adamu Babayo from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Peuna's assumption of office comes amidst widespread speculations of industrial action following issues surrounding the sharing formula of the earned academic allowances recently released by the federal government of Nigeria, brain drain, among others. And now to the rest of the stories. The Federal Controller of Works in Ondo State, Olajide Hussein, says the 15-kilometer phase 1 of the Akure Itagbolu Iju Ikere road dualization will be completed and inaugurated in December by President Bola Tinubu. According to Hussein, the phase 1 15-kilometer of the road project cost 19 billion naira, while the phase 2 is expected to go up 23 billion naira. He explained that it is the policy of the ministry to always do projects in phases so that road users would have unhindered access to one lane, while the contractors would start work on the second lane to solve the problem of traffic first before constructing the other carriageway. Hussein added that he expects the contractor to complete the 18 kilometers by December and for President Tinubu to inaugurate it so that there will be a smooth, unbroken traffic between Akure and Ikere before coming back to the other lane. The Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, has reversed his earlier stance and pledged full support for the National Security Summit being organized by the National Assembly. Badaru expressed his commitment to participate in the two-day event and ensure its outcome translates into concrete actions, while describing the proposed summit as a timely initiative to tackle Nigeria's growing security concerns. The minister's latest position marks a notable departure from his remarks on Wednesday during an interministerial briefing where he had suggested that developing a security strategy would be more effective than convening a summit. He acknowledged the importance of dialogue and inclusive policymaking, stressing that the real impact lied in turning decisions into strategic reforms. Badaru further commended the National Assembly's efforts, pledging to play an active role in the summit and championed the implementation of its recommendations. And now to foreign news. The United States and China have agreed a deal that will significantly cut the import tariffs or taxes both sides have imposed on one another for a 90-day period. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said both countries would lower their reciprocal tariffs by 115% for 90 days. The announcement came after the two countries held intensive talks in Switzerland over the weekend. It was the first meeting between the two countries since President Donald Trump levied steep tariffs against China on its goods entering America in January. The U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports will now be cut to 30% for 90 days, while Chinese tariffs on U.S. imports will be cut to 10% for the same period of time. Over to sports news. Nigeria and Senegal are set to renew their rivalry in the quarterfinals of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations at the Suez Canal Stadium in Ismailia today. This will be the fourth encounter between the two sides at the tournament, with Nigeria having won two of the previous encounters while Senegal had one victory. Their history at the competition has been filled with high stakes, with the winner of each previous match between them going on to lift the trophy. Ahead of training in Ismailia, Flying Eagles coach Aliou Zubairu underscored the significance of the match, highlighting its importance for both teams. Zubairu acknowledges Senegal's status but insists Nigeria will not be intimidated and will run its race into the semi-finals. That was our news at 12. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs. It's live on YouTube. Traffic Radio 961. And you can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, 18,000 teachers were trained under EcoExcel? You can get more details on the Legacy Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Legacy Government has generated 333 billion naira in tax revenue in the first quarter of 2025, with the aim of providing more funding for the Themes Plus developmental agenda of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration. The Federal Controller of Works in Ondo State, Olajide Hussein, has assured that the 15-kilometer phase 1 of the Akure-Talgbolu-Iju-Ikere road dualization will be completed and inaugurated in December by President Bola Tinubu. We also told you that the United States and China have agreed a deal that will significantly cut the import tariffs or taxes both sides have imposed on one another for a 90-day period. In sports, Nigeria and Senegal are set to renew their rivalry in the quarterfinals of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations at the Suez Canal Stadium in Ismailia today. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Moji Donolade. Thank you, Lagos, for listening. My name is Mike James. Beautiful afternoon to you.